Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Scottish International Open 2018 here at the Dewar Centre in Perth. And the live coverage on the YouTube and Facebook streaming is kindly sponsored by First Containers UK for new and used containers for sale, hire or conversion into shops, cafes and offices. They've got over 75 years of experience in the trade. Have a look at the website. It's very interesting. And if you want to contact them at sales@firstcontainers.co.uk. And the lineup for this day, Wednesday, the 7th of November. First game up this morning, interesting game. Jason Greenslade versus Greg Harlow. Jason Greenslade is currently provisionally ranked 16 on the ranking, and Greg Harlow is our world number 1. That's your first game on this morning. This afternoon, defending champion David Gourley, MBE, versus the left-hander Les Gillett. Very, very interesting game, match 3 today for you. Both were outside of the top 16, but both battling on the door to get in there. Perry Martin versus Wayne Wilgress. I think we'll be in for fireworks for that game. And the last game on this afternoon features Mr. Philip Last Bowl Last versus Mervyn King. It'll be a great day of bowling. Jason Greenslade, of course, won this back in 2004. Greg Harlow won it back-to-back in 2015 and 16. 2016 was one of the most incredible performances I'd ever seen. A fantastic final against Paul Foster. And Greg had actually taken an injury in the first round and managed to limp his way all the way to victory. It was a fantastic exponent of the game of bowls, Mr. Harlow. World number 1. As I mentioned before, Jason Greenslade's currently at 14, but provisionally drops to 16. And with Wayne Wilgress and Perry Martin still in this event, anything could happen. So that's your first game on this morning. And over to our match officials for this game. Here we have Francis Fletcher is your umpire, Dan Blewett is on shot clock, and Mike Davis is the marker. 3 officials here this week to keep us going. We normally have 4 officials at an event, but at this event there was only 3 officials available. So I like to think we've got the cream here this week. So over again, back to this first game up. It'll be interesting to see how it all lines up for you this morning. The winner of this game will face Jamie Chesney in the quarterfinals tomorrow. So it'll be a very, very interesting affair. Jason, of course, the last of the Welsh in the draw, playing against world number 1. I'll hand over now to Richard Maddison on the rink to introduce your players.
Well, morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Scottish International Open here at the Dewar Centre, and it is the second round. So let's bring your players on without further ado for you. Former Welsh International Open and Scottish International Open champion. He's an Atlantic Rim Games gold medalist. World ranked at number 14. It's the Welsh wizard, Jason Greenslade. World Indoor Single and Pairs champion, 3 times the International Open champion, and 3 times the Scottish International Open champion. He's the World Indoor number 1. It is Greg Harlow.
Well, we're in for a very interesting game this morning. As I mentioned earlier, this is the battle of the provisional ranked 1 in the world versus the provisional ranked 16, and with players battling it away for that 14th, 15th and 16th place in the rankings.
Jack length 28
Huge
metres.
game here for Jason Greenslade. The man on the mat, one of the most successful players of all time in the World Bowls Tour, won many titles many times. He's won this title 3 times, and as I mentioned earlier, back to back in 2015 and 16. The world number 1, Greg Harlow. Jason got through his first round game on a tie break against Chris Chow from Hong Kong, and Chris played exceptionally well, and I thought Jason really had to play a get out of jail card to get through to this second round. And again, Greg Harlow had to go to a tie break in his first round game against the Cumbrian qualifier Paul Wallace, and just took that 2-1. So both had battles in the first round. Greg Harlow was the runner-up back in March at the International Open at Blackpool Newton Hall, where he faced David Gawley. Great ball there from Greg. Greg's had to swap colours. He was red in his first game. He swapped to green. Top player in the draw plays in red with red bowls. Bottom player in the draw plays with green and green bowls. So even the top players in the world have to swap and change a bit. They get the opportunity to practice. So Greg has been out there a couple of times with his green bowls. But very experienced player, Greg Harlow.
One red.
Both of them represent their countries at international level and have picked up many national titles. Now Greg, just need to slip past the short red bowl and you'll be in the area. Needs to just slip past there. Got a chance now. Great bowl, probably missed it to the green bowl. We're with you all day for the streaming here on World Bowls Tour Streaming. If you can't stay with us, if you have to do that 4-letter word called work, you'll pick up all the news and results on worldbowlstour.tv, the website. Jason's here again. He's just been unlucky really, just needed the bowl to run about another inch further.
12 inches short of jack high.
Just a nice backhand draw here for Greg. This backhand is swinging quite considerably. It's the first time I had a chance to have a go on the rink myself last night, because everybody had been saying how quick it was running. I wanted to have a see for myself. It was quite quiet. All the players' practices had finished, and the side that Greg's just played on is a real big swing. You've got to be the perfect weight for it to come back to centre. Jason taking his time over this shot. There is a shot to try and plant the green bowl out of the head. Just opting to play it on the draw line. Just needs to turn his own red bowl to the left of your screen. This needs to start moving now, or he might have the green bowl.
One shot, Greg Harlow. Jack length 29 metres.
Well, Greg opting for a full length jack, 29 metres. This was a tactic he used in his opening game, was to play a longer length jack. And this is the sort of ball he can put up at that length. The highest Jason ever got in the ranking was back in 2006, where he got up to world rank 2, and that was just when he was having all his success with getting through rounds at the World Championships and winning here and also at the Welsh Masters that was then. He won that back in 2006, which took him up to rank 2. Greg's in the area again. Very close. Great ball. It's a very hard game to call when we saw this come out the draw, because Greg's so consistent, but Jason's a master of the change bowl, as in the running bowl that can alter ahead and isn't afraid to go early. It looks like he's going early here. Second bowl. Needs to hold there now. Jason needs those sort of shots to be on target today if he's going to defeat the world number 1. Just behind for Greg. Couldn't have placed that better.
Green.
Don't forget, as we're with you on YouTube and Facebook for the streaming throughout the day, if you've got any questions, please do put them to us. We'll get them answered for you in the breaks in play. And also let us know where you're viewing from. It's always interesting to hear where we've got new viewers from, and we can put that down on our list of places. We should get a map and pin these places on all over the world that we've had tuning in. Alaska, Mexico, the Gold Coast, Ghana, Vancouver, Pittsburgh, Carolina, New Zealand, all over we've had tuning in.
4 green.
World Bowls Tour are always trying to further this experience for you, working on new elements, a new streaming team involved, new graphics and full HD cameras, and of course
Timeout call.
commentary. I'm glad you could
Jason
join me
has
this
4
morning.
timeouts remaining.
Now, Jason, what can you do about this? Looking like it's going to be a forehand runner. Now, can he get a result of his own? Nope. The ultimate 4 shots to the world number 1, Greg Harlow.
4 shots, Greg Harlow.
He takes the lead in the first set after 2 ends, 5-0. Greg, the Potter's Resort Bowls ambassador, works in bowls, does a lot of work for bowls as well. Jason Greenslade is a civil servant from Penarth. Home club Sully, and of course quite well known that Greg Harlow plays out of the City of Ely club.
Excuse me, can you sit down, please?
Just a little bit of a disturbance in the crowd. You'll see that the shot clock hasn't started. First ball anyway of an end, the shot clock doesn't come into operation, but because it isn't Greg's fault that there's a disturbance in the crowd, Mike Davis had to intervene then. When they're just trying to find their seats and get settled, they're not bothered that Greg was just on the mat. There you see the shot clock counting down. They've got 30 seconds to deliver the ball before they get timed out. And then you'll hear a very loud buzzer sound. And the ball then is deemed dead. Greg Harlow has done an awful lot of work over the years for disabled bowls. Used to help organise a festival of bowls for wheelchair players, and is the president of the Disabled Bowls Association. But he also does a lot of work for the Special Olympics. He kindly came along to Doncaster last year, where the Summer Games was held for the Great British Special Olympics, and he spent a lot of time with all the players and spectators there and gave all the players their medals.
One ready.
He and his
7
wife
inches.
Kay even took the time to have a go on the rinks with the players. So I'm sure there's a few Special Olympic players tuning in to watch their hero on the mat, Greg Harlow. Close here, just needs to get past the red bowl. Can it sit in? Yeah, done enough.
One green.
Well, Jason needs to really be scoring at this end. He doesn't want this first set to just fly away from him. And Greg will know all he has to do is just keep plodding away. Jason needs to slip inside the short green bowl. It'll work all the way back if it's a decent length. Oh, he got a little bit of fortune there as the green bowl helped him in. Now, he's got a shot here, reach his
2
own
inches.
bowl. Just a little bit wide for what he needed. Both of these players play with Henselite bowls. Both sponsored by Henselite. Greg's playing with the Tiger Evo. Yeah, it looks like
One shot,
Jason's playing with the
Jason
Tiger
Greenslade.
Evo as well. Well, he's on the board. Jason Greenslade takes the third end. Greg Harlow still leads 5-1 after 3 ends. Great day's lineup of play for you. We start again at 1 o'clock with David Gawley, MBE. David Gawley got the MBE in the awards this year, and he hot-foots it down to Buckingham Palace next Friday to pick up that award And that was for services to bowls, for all the work he'd done with the Commonwealth Games squad, but as well as that, all the titles he's had over the years. Very, very consistent player. At the moment he holds both this title and the International Open title from last season's play, and he faces Les Gillett. Les Gillett dropped out of the top 16 and then fought his way all the way back into it. I'm sure there's a title there for Les Gillett at some point. Could this one be the one? Could he upset the defending champion? Second game on this afternoon is Perry Martin. Perry beat Andy Thompson in the first round here, and he faces Wayne Wilgress, who took out Darren Burnett. Great game on the cards there, I'm sure, from these two young guns. And then the final game on today, well, it's the battle of the draw bowlers. Philip Last, who's a qualifier who beat world number 3 Robert Paxton in the first round, versus the king of the draw, Mervyn King. Interesting lineup of play. If you can't stay with us, you'll get all the news and results on worldbowlstour.tv. But if you can stay with us, we're very grateful for the streaming from First Containers UK. That's the trouble when Jason puts out a loose lead. Greg Harlow's just going to make the most of that. Something wrong with this, Jason? A little tight, a little bit short. Mentioned before, that side of the rink is a real big swing. You've got to be perfect weight to get back to centre. I think that's just quite made it in. Mike Davis just having a quick look at it, but I think it might have just sat out. I think it's just one green. Well, Jason, if you're perfect weight. Great ball from Greg there. Doesn't make it any easier from Jason. It's just sat down and tickled the jack, so it doesn't make the target any bigger. Gets a chalk of the touching bowl. Means it stays live if it goes in the back ditch. Down a very interesting track here, Jason. This is all on your pace. In the area. And he's got one away. Then that ball touched the jack, so Mike Davis just chalking it there.
One green.
There's a draw down this forehand now for Greg, just to rest the wing bowl of Jason's.
One shot, Greg Harlow.
Just short, but still on the card for Greg. Means that the ends are slipping away from Jason. 6-1 after 4 ends to Greg Harlow. Still that longer length jack.
Five inches.
Well, again, Greg just piling in the pressure against Jason. To Jason to try and start changing something here, or he'll find this first set just totally slips away from him. The world number one in control. Certainly what Greg will be aware of here is he won't want to build up any sort of targets for Jason to play at. So getting bowls back to the middle. What can the Welsh wizard do? Well, if it sits down, it's got a very good chance.
One green.
Still one green. Jason will be disappointed with that. It's a good bowl. Now, Greg, very good line. Get back to the red bowl and rest off it. There we go. 2 shots to green at the moment.
2 green.
And lying at an 8-1 lead. Close here, piece of the jack. Oh, if it sits back, it might rest the jack back to the green bowl.
I think so, yes.
Don't think Greg dare look. Got Mike Davis down on his hands and knees looking. It looks like they're all touching.
Tied end.
Well, you don't often see those. Tied end means that at least one red and one green bowl were both touching the jack and couldn't be separated. That often happens when it's actually blocked in between and a bowl sits back. So no score at that end. So it means after 5 ends, Greg Harlow stays 6-1 ahead. We've had a bit of everything here this week, folks. Everything that you could name in the rules book. Fantastic for those that are here, including the director that's in my ear at the moment, to see all these different things happening. He's certainly learning the game. I know he fancies going out there and having a go at bowls as well. So, but we've had virtually every rule come into play. Rebounding jacks, killed ends. That's what you expect from this level of play. So another great opening ball from Greg Harlow, and the ends are now slipping away from Jason. 4 ends left to play, is 5 behind in this opening set. We play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary a 3-end tie break. Both these players came through their first round games in tie breaks, so no stranger to those sort of rules. But Jason's really got to start changing something here to repeat his win of 2004. I seem to remember in that final he was very aggressive all the time. He played a lot of runners throughout the tournament and he was on target with them all. Well, enough to win the title, and that's enough for anyone.
One green.
Good there from Greg. Anything just behind means that if Jason reaches into this, it's more likely to go to a green bowl. Close piece of the jack, just missed it. As my Australian colleague told me, he says that over there they say miss by a grain of sand. Clive Adams, who got beaten by Stuart Anderson in the first round, is one of Bowls Australia's commentators. He joined me a couple of times in commentary here. I said I was going to pinch that off him. Missed by a grain of sand. Close again. Can't believe he's missed it twice. And Greg just looking to rest that last bowl of Jason's. Needs to run. Well, Jason, if you can play the same bowl again, need really to pick that jack up for a count of 2 here. He's clicking his fingers, which normally means a player thinks he's quick. Now Jason needs to start swinging now. Can it swing down? He's right, you know, he's quick. And another end disappears. And the world number 1 firmly in control of this opening set. 7-1 after 6 ends. For those astute viewers, you'll just notice that there's been a quick change of marker there. We were having a few problems with Mike Davis's new microphone system, so Francis Fletcher, the umpire, takes to the rink well, Mike gets rigged with the correct equipment. We're just going to take a time out, ladies and gentlemen, as we've just got an illness in the crowd. This often happens at these sort of events. And we'll just go to a little short break here, but while we're having this short break, we'll just remind you of our sponsors. Firstcontainers.co.uk. They deal in new and used containers for sale, hire or conversion into shops, cafes and offices. If you have a look on Grand Designs, I was talking about this with my production company up here, and we were saying that you actually can even get houses made into or out of containers now. Quite amazing. Have a look at that as well, and I'm sure these guys would be able to advise you on that side of things. Great sponsors of this streaming service for you at the Scottish International Open. We'll just take this short break and we'll be back with you as soon as we can. We'll try and keep you informed as to what's happening, but unfortunately somebody in the audience has just currently taken ill. Well, the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman has walked out of the arena himself. He's had a few sips of water and they've taken him out to just have a bit of a relax and take him away, but he was alright. He certainly walked out of the arena himself, but always sad when those sort of things happen. I hope he fully recovers, and meanwhile we're straight back to the streaming for you. Mike Davies has even managed to have his microphone changed in the process, so we'll just wait for the two players to come back in. I think they were both just sat having a relax. Again, it's not their fault that something like that happens, and they will both be very, very understanding of the situation. does get very warm in here. We do recommend that people bring in bottles of water. Of course, open drinks are not good because under here is a large bowling surface, so you don't want any water to go through onto that, but take a bottle of water in with you if you do come down to the stadium. It's very warm. I almost wish I'd packed me shorts, it's so warm in here today. So back to the play. N7 and Greg Harlow is 7-1 up. He delivered his jack when that break came. Certainly hasn't upset Greg Harlow's rhythm. Of course, these players are used to these interruptions. Always unfortunate when it happens, but just a question of refocusing yourself. Just focusing at the back end of the rink there. He's huge into bowls, the psychology side, sports psychology, preparing for a game. Certainly two of the leading professionals on the circuit both approach the game in a very professional manner. Jason certainly just struggling in this opening set, just needs to find a little bit of form to take him into the second set. Well, Jason, he's obviously heard he needs to find a bit of form to take him to the second set. Needs to find those sort of bowls. The man walking to the mat, Greg Harlow, firmly in control of this first set in this last 16 tie here at the Scottish International Open. Just short, but Greg can afford to drop one shot. Well, Jason, what a time to find a bit of form on the seventh end. Two shots for Jason Greenslade. Greg Harlow still leads this opening set 7-3. And 2 ends to play. Jason's given himself a sniff of a chance there. Slightly shorter length of jack, 27.5 metres. Greg's been predominantly playing 29 metre jacks. Not Jason might have even gone shorter still. Oh, Greg is known to be lethal at the short ends. Needs to run, Jason. Close here from Greg. It'll swing all the way back to the middle if it sits down. Shot. Good enough, I think. Pass his own. Anything slip past it is good for Jason. Down the forehand here for Greg. Sorry, I just disappeared from you for a minute, but a very good friend and ex-colleague Sandra McLeish is in the building. So of course I had to say a quick hello to Sandra. So if we suddenly get one of our umpires taken ill, we know we've got a great backup here. Jason just needs to sit the green bowl out. Have a decent count here. The trouble with this sort of bowl down this hand is if you just played too much overweight, it will hang off. He's urging it on. Needs to run, Jason. I think it might have just failed. Oh, Mike Davis says he slightly favours the last bowl. Just a bowl of Greg's to come what Greg does right, to come and just have a check of this one. It's taken a time out. Ideally for Greg, doesn't want to go in to the ninth end of the set, would quite happily finish the set off here, move into set 2. Jason does pick up a shot. He's still got a chance in a final end. So Greg, a little touch on this jack. Turn the jack away from Jason's. He looks down a very good line. It's all on his pace. I don't think he's making the trip with this. Mike Davis will just quickly go in to chock that red bowl. So I think Harlow's currently 4 shots up at this end 8. If this is measured in as a green bowl, that'll be the end of the first set. This is interesting if you get a shot of how Francis Fletcher measures when he uses the caliper measures. Always crosses his legs at the back. He feels it makes it a lot more stable a position. It's the only umpire that I know to do this. Just crosses his ankles at the back. He feels that makes his positions very stable, and then goes in to do the measure. Just asking if he can remove the other 2 Jason bowls. He's gone back to the box measure, so you won't see him crossing his legs. Looks like it could be 1 green. Very tight. 1 red.
On shot, Jason Greenslade.
Mike Davis's eyes don't need testing, do they? He called it as being favoured 1 red. So we do go into the final end of this first set. 4-7 on the scoreboards. So Jason Greenslade needs 3 to tie the set, 4 to win it. Still a big ask against the world number 1.
Jack line 27.5 meters.
Well, big opportunity for Greg now just to adjust on his last delivery, put the pressure back on Jason. All on pace, Greg. Well, that doesn't help Jason. Very much a question of Greg just covering bowls here. Jason needs a minimum count of 3. Close with this one, urging it on. That one's done enough. 2 red at the moment. Super confident player, Greg. Settling down just to draw in here. Rest off his own, it might get second. It's still 2 red. So Jason. Greg's still got a bowl to come, but Jason can be holding the 3 shots at the end of this bowl. It does kind of put the pressure back on Greg to change something. Still think it's a big ask to score 3 against the world number 1. Well, it's to just ease off the running, Jason, I think. Can it get to Greg's bowl and sit off it? Oh, it's sat the wrong way. Set over.
Two shots, first set, Greg Harlow.
So that shows the set has been closer than it actually probably was. Greg Harlow takes the opening set 7-6. It looks like the narrowest of margins. But, Jason had to score a 3 on that end to tie the set. So first set ends 7-6 to Greg Harlow. When we move into the second set, stay with us on this coverage, courtesy of the World Bowls Tour streaming, and brought to you by First Containers UK. BBC do take over with their camera work for this second set of the morning game. They take a lot of the coverage to show us highlights later on in the day. Stay with us. We're with you for every bowl sent here on the streaming service. Do hope you're enjoying this, our coverage of the Scottish International Open 2018. Dewars Centre in Perth. Fantastic curling rink next door and cafe, function rooms. Always make us warmly welcome when we visit Perth. All 3 venues for the World Bowls Tour events, different in their own way.
2 feet.
The tour moves on to Potters in January for the World Bowls Championships, which is a 3-week festival of bowls at Potters. Want to have a look there, go on to pottersholidays.com and have a look at the facilities there. And the final event in the tour at the moment is the International Open, which goes to Blackpool Newton Hall, which is a Partington's holiday park. Again, if you look at their website, it's partingtons.com. Caravans and flats available there. And the Bowls Centre used to be the old animal houses for Blackpool Tower Circus. And sometimes when we play there, we feel like we're in a bit of a circus, because that's my home club. Very proud of Blackpool Newton Hall. Jason just having a look at the screen here to see what the angle is here. I think he's opting to stay down his backhand, so he's just having a look where the Greg Harlow bowl is in position to the jack. Urging this bowl on, needs to just slip past the green bowl. Might have just hung wide, I think. I think it's just still a 1 red.
Just favour 1.
Reaching bowl from Greg Harlow, use his own bowl, get back to the red, red solid. Just pulled up short. Not done any damage. Just probably wanted another 2 feet of weight in that last bolt.
I'm ready.
Well, Jason, down a very good track. What's the pace like? Urging it on again. Good here, Jason. Certainly turned it on in this second set. Here's a repeat of that. The ball perfect line, just needs the perfect weight. Not made it any easier for Greg Harlow to get shot here. Greg just coming up to have a look at this. Doesn't want to play it with too much weight to take his own green bowl out, but there is a shot down that right hand side of your screen to just reach to his own bowl. Turn it once is good, just get inside it and get back to the jack. Looking for about 2 feet to a yard of weight on his last delivery.
Greg has 3 comments remaining.
In the area, just needs to start moving now. It's a great effort.
2 shots, Jason Greenslade.
So Jason takes the opening end with 2 shots in this second set. He's got to win this set to take us into a tie break. Just narrowly lost out in the first set.
Jackman, 36.5 meters.
He just shortened it up a tad more there. .26.5 meters. Greg had been predominantly playing the 29-meter jack. Players at this stage would swap hands and think there was a bigger target on the forehands, but Greg's been playing this side of the rink so successfully. Another great line here, all on his pace. Still a few tickets available for today. If you're interested, contact liveactive.co.uk, which is the Jewish Centre here at Perth, or the World Bowls Tour.tv website has a link for tickets. Come down and watch some exceptional games on this afternoon, defending champion on this afternoon, and well worth bobbing in and having a watch live. And if you can't, don't forget we're with you for every bowl played here at the World Bowls Tour streaming. Jason, if you're reaching, there's always a bowl tight, but if you'd have reached and just got a bit of a straightener off the green bowl, looking to adjust delivery. Nice view in the crowd today though. Close, Greg. Very close. Great bowl. Let me see that again. Swings back off that hand, almost at right angles. Well, Jason's down a good track, needs to reach now. Piece of the jack would be ideal. I think he's just pulling up short. And Jason, there was an opportunity there because Greg, a little touch on the jack for 3 here. Virtually just a repeat of his last delivery. If you get a piece of the jack, it's a bonus. Everything in his favour down this hand. He's very close again. Yeah, done enough. Good ball, Greg.
3 shots, Greg Harlow.
Well, Jason Greenslade scored a 2 at the opening end, but Greg Harlow went touche. Scored a 3 at the second end, so he's 3-2 up after 2 ends in the second set.
Jack line 29 meters. Always good that the marker informs a player if the ball falls down before they're due to bowl their ball. It can make a big difference if bowls are close. If you have just joined us, this is the 5th game in the last 16 of the Scottish International Open here at the Dewar Centre in Perth, between world number 1 Greg Harlow and currently world number 14 Jason Greenslade, but provisionally world number 16 and slipping. So big game here. Greg Harlow's won this title 3 times before and on 2 consecutive occasions back in 16 and 15. Jason's last victory here was back in 2004. Been a good game so far. The opening set went 7-6 to Greg Harlow. But in fairness, Greg was fully in control. At end 6 he was 7-1 up. It was Jason that was having to chase shots. Playing a lot better in the second set, Jason Greenslade.
2 red.
Just looking at the angles here. It's about 8-9 inches to draw shot. Not a lot on target wise, but he's just looking at the
Greg has 2 time exit.
green bowl, centre of your screen, to see if it would perhaps get the split on the 2 bowls. Once he's decided that's possible, then he has to make the decision on which hand is best to play it off. So which hand the bias comes off the bowl at the best angle to get the right connection. Choice of shot made. Looks like he's playing down the backhand with it. So green bowl in the centre of your screen required. Down an interesting line, Greg. What's the connection like? He's a bit unfortunate there because he didn't get any piece of the jacket. His ball isn't a toucher in the ditch. The red ball, if you just look at it now on the contact, the red ball actually follows the jack through. So he knows he's 1 down with Jason still a bowl to come. It was worth playing it if it had got both bowls clean out. Those are the decisions you make when you're at the head looking at the angles. So 2 shots to the Welsh widowed Jason Greenslade there, takes him 4-3 up in this second set after 3 ends. A set he has to win. Great shot of our stadium here with the flags flying.
Jack line 27 meters.
Good opener from Jason here. Greg picked up a 3 in this direction of play last time.
How short Jason's last ball? This last ball, 11 inches short of Jack line.
Well, when the players ask these questions of our match officials, it's to try and build up the picture in their mind as to what's the best shot to play. Knowing that that ball was 11 inches short, Greg's opted to play slightly tight with a little bit of pace, but very unforgiving is that sort of pace on this rink. It's running very quick at the moment. It's new underlay and new carpet. Quickest it's ever been, and it is fairly true as well. There's not many runs in it. Certainly all the players I've spoken to have been applauding the surface that's provided by Dale's Sports Surfaces. Better line, Greg, if you've got the same pace you're in the area. Very unlucky there. Great ball from Jason there. Greg just under the target.
2 shots, Jason Greenslade.
Another 2 to Jason. 3 twos has given him a 6-3 lead after 4 ends in this second set. We play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie break. If you can't stay with us, don't forget you'll pick up all the scores on worldbowlstour.tv, the website. It's also worth having a look on the website for news and information about future tournaments and when the next streaming starts. We're with you for every ball sent here at the Scottish International Open. If you've got any questions or would like to let us know where you're viewing from, please let our production team know. Always nice to know who's listening in and enjoying the streaming. Well, the Welsh wizard Jason Greenslade 6-3 up after 4 ends in this second set. Greg Harlow was firmly in control of the opening set. Needs to find a little bit of that form here. It looks like this is a decent opener.
Slightly green.
The last ball slightly short?
Yes, it's 6 inches short.
Oh, Jason, a little bit more running required. Good ball in there. Going quick here, Greg. Just trying to take something away. No gap. Wow, he got the gap. Can you believe it? Anything. The bowl, bit of the jack, anything. Here we see it again, right through the gap. That grain of sand again between the bowl and the jack. Oh, Greg. Again, any piece of anything would help save the end here. Timing bowl again. Doesn't need a lot different. Can't get the gap again. Oh, would you believe it? I'm sure Greg doesn't believe it. Could be a measure for 3 here. Anything. Well, it looks like it's a measure for 2. That back red bowl looks distance away. So it's just the one. In the reverse of the first set, when after 5 ends, Greg Harlow was 6-1 up. After 5 ends in this second set, it's Jason Greenslade, the world number 14, that has a 7-3 lead with 4 ends to play. 4 up, 4 ends to play. Jason has to win this set. A tie is not good enough for him. This is almost a repeat of Jason's first round game against Chris Chow from Hong Kong.
Jackline 27 metres.
In that game, Jason struggled in the first set and lost it 11-4, but came back to win the second set to take us to a tie break. And then, to some extent, it's anybody's game in a tie break. A little bit of luck can come your way. It's not the way anybody likes to win or lose a game. In the tie breaks, it's exciting for the viewers, exciting for yourselves at home. Or at work, of course. Hopefully you're managing to tune in if you're at work. Thank you so much for joining us here on our streaming, brought to you by First Containers UK. Bet here from Greg, but it's still got a touch through. Well, Greg's hanging on here. Just a slight adjustment on his delivery. Drop a foot of weight. Great ball from Greg there. At this stage of the set, that's what he needed.
And the gap between the red.
Between the green and the jack, just under a quarter of an inch.
And mine then?
Your bow is 8 inches. Jason. Tie back goal. Go down one tie again.
Greg. Been up to see it now. Knows the danger. Doesn't want to touch the jack. Now, Jason, what's your pace like? The line looks very, very interesting. Little touch on the jack. Well, now, the jack rocked backwards and forwards a few times there.
One red.
One red. Here we see it again. Rocked backwards and forwards, did the jack. Both bowls rocked as well. Great bowls from Jason here. Now, Greg, can you get a connection on your own bowl? Needs to hold. Nearly gets it off that bowl. One shot to Jason.
One shot, Jason Greenslade.
So, after the sixth end, 8-3 up is Jason Greenslade. What a turnaround from that first set this is. Nice few spectators in this morning to watch this Wales versus England game. This afternoon at 1 o'clock we've got defending champion David Gourlay MBE from Scotland versus England's Les Gillett. Perry Martin versus Wayne Wilgress, both of England. And Philip Last and Mervyn King, both of England. A lot of English interest here today. Yesterday, the day was packed with Scottish interest. In the morning, Nick Brett, the Englishman, beat James Rippey to go into the quarter-finals, where he'll face Paul Foster MBE, who came through against Michael Stepney yesterday with one of the most outstanding bowls at the 8th end of the second set I think any of us have ever witnessed in the streaming. Then Alex Marshall MBE went out at the hands of Stuart Anderson. Again, another incredible bowl in the tie-break from Stuart to take him into the quarter-finals. And the final match on yesterday, Jamie Chesney beat Mark Royal. There are still 4 places left in those quarter-finals. Who can take those? We'll know the quarter-final lineup for tomorrow by the end of today's play.
14 inches short of jack line.
Very focused, Jason. Knows he's got a chance now in this second set. Doesn't want to give Greg a look. Just overplayed that. He's steering that as if he meant it to be there. Very successful player, Jason, but sometimes hard to call what shots he's contemplating playing. All Greg needs now is a nice draw to back to his favoured side of the rink. Not a time for anything silly, Jason. He's blocked his own hand on the backhand draw. Quite nice to see the other side of the players sometimes, and last night I sat and watched a session of practice with Jason Greenslade and Mervyn King, and it was highly entertaining. Sometimes you wish you could film those practice sessions and actually put them out in some coverage, because they were having a great bit of fun. Even called me on at one point in time to let them know who was shot in a practice session. Good bit of fun that last night, watching those two practice. But it's all serious stuff here today for both Jason and Mervyn later on. Now again, Jason doesn't want to play anything too silly here, because if he gets any sort of piece of Greg's bowl, it could ping the jack out to Greg's 2 bowls at the back. Currently he's only 1 down. Lots of danger here for Jason. But he'll want to cover those 2 back bowls of Greg's, otherwise Greg's got the shot on. Now, needs to run to the back bowls, Jason. Oh, it looks pretty decent here. Yeah, gone to a good home there. Well played, Jason. Saw the danger, covered it. Doesn't really want to drop 1 or 2 shots here, but would rather drop 1 or 2 than dropping 3 or 4. Just lacking here, Greg. Perfect line.
One shot, Greg Harlow.
It's only the second time he's scored in this second set.
Set score 8-4 after
Jason
7.
Greenslade after 7 ends still leads 8-4. Greg's 4 behind with 2 ends to play. Greg can afford a tie. 2 twos would do, Greg. He won the opening set by the narrowest of margins, 7-6 on paper. He was quite firmly in control of that opening set.
Jack on 29 metres.
Back to his 29-metre jack. Jason just dropping short. Greg can slot another bowl in here. Jason might just start to feel the nerves. Greg stays calm. Did do in his opening game against Paul Wallace, the Cumbria qualifier. Rest off his own, he gets the 2. Yeah, holding 2 at the moment. Auntie Brenda at the back there looking beautiful in blue. I've just noticed she's in the building. Good supporter of disabled bowls is Brenda Anderson. There's a lot of work with disabled bowls. Ah, Jason found one just when he needed it.
You've got 2 seconds, Mike.
Yes.
Greg not hanging about, needs to alter something here, knows it's an important end. Just got Jason to bowl away. Jason can afford to just leave that bowl there and go for cover, but really probably needs to split the 2 green bowls up. He's just going to have a quick look. If Greg could remove the red bowl clean. Yeah, it will go clean. There's a gap there. Then Jason doesn't want to set up a target either. Just getting to the red bowls. Greg just trying to get out of Jason's viewing way, just block the line. A lot of players look at the rink markers as their guide. Some players look at the centre mark. It's often difficult to know just exactly where to stand, because we also have to avoid the camera line here when we're in the TV events. Gone for a blocker. Actually, that's not badly played. Not badly played at all.
Last ball, 18-inch gap.
Well, do we go into a tie break in this first game on the Wednesday morning here at the Dewars? Greg now having to play the difficult timer. Slip past the short red to get to the jack. Trail the jack. There's an opportunity for a 3. Can he play it? Needs to start moving. His right weight for the job.
One shot, second set.
So, after being totally in control of the first set, Greg Harlow, and winning it by the narrowest of margins in the end, 7-6. He's now lost the second set, and we go into a tie break. Jason Greenslade, the Welsh wizard, came onto a great game in the second set. So slightly different rules here. It's a 3-end tie break. Doesn't matter how many shots are scored, it's all about winning the end. And the first player to win 2 ends will take their place against Jamie Chesney tomorrow morning at 10:15 in the first of our quarter-finals.
Jack like
26.5 metre jack. A bit of composure here by Jason, just taking his time. There's no shot clock for the first bowl to be delivered. The shot clock starts after the first bowl comes to rest. What a great opener by Jason. Certainly a different switch was flicked when we went into the second set. That was just a bit unfortunate. That was right on Greg's delivery. Somebody just got a bit of a cough in the crowd. Because it's so quiet out there, any little disturbance does tend to just affect your concentration. Won't have been done on purpose, it was just one of those things. Greg recomposes himself. Just overplayed, but it's always useful back there. Don't want any short bowls in. Just asking where the spot is at this side. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter how many shots you count in a tie break, it's all about winning the end. Jason's put a very good first bowl in, won't want to build the target any for Greg. It's right behind the jack at the moment. So if Greg plays a runner down the forehands, the spot it's likely to go out of if it goes out of play is the one that Jason's just played. Took a couple of foot short, but
The gap has been shot low.
Shot ball on Jack.
2.5 inches.
there's a shot of Kay Harlow, Greg's good lady wife. Having a good chat earlier, Kay and I. Now Greg, in the area, a piece of the jack, just missed it. That's the sort of shot viewers that Greg's looking to play, and that's why Jason's trying to cover the angles at the back of the rink.
Spot again, Mike, how far short was that?
You're 2.5 feet short.
Quick to answer the question, Mike Davis is a good bowler in his own right as well. Which, same with all the match officials here at Perth. That helps for them knowing what sort of question you're likely to ask and be quick to answer it. You've only got 30 seconds to deliver your bowl. A little bit of an improvement on his first is what Jason wants to that spot, and that's perfect. That's perfect. Now Greg.
What's the gap to the spot, the last bowl, please?
The gap is 4 inches.
So Greg now knows he's got to hit it with this and then draw to 4 inches with his next. Slight adjustment on his last delivery. Greg Harlow in the area, very close with this, Greg. There you go. Actually, it got an edge off the bowl that Jason had put towards the spot, so it's actually opened it up. One bowl shootout now, great bowl from Greg Harlow, world number 1 there. Fantastic result as well. You knew there was a chance it might have gone out of the side confines of the rink. But had to play it, had to give himself a chance. Now, Jason, can you draw to that jack? Line looks good, all on pace. All on pace here. Well, Jason, you've put it back, son. You've put it back. Now, Greg, just see this bowl again of Jason's. A lot of pressure there, it's been opened up, you think you've got a chance of getting the first end. Now Greg, I think he'll just go for the bowl if he's got second bowl. Might be blocked by one of his own green bowls for angle, but we'll get a nice swing on here. He's actually two down, so he'll have to just draw this. Draw or jack in ditch. Make your decision, Greg. Gone for jack in ditch. Just wonder if that green bowl is in his way. First end to Jason Greenslade. Well, it's the first time really Jason's been ahead in this game. So 1-0. Jason wins this next end. His choice of jack, so he's given it to Greg. And no surprise, Greg's opted to go for a shorter jack. Oh, could we be in for another shock here at Dewars in the second round? World number 1 in trouble, has to win this end to keep his hopes alive of a 4th title here at the Dewars. What a great opener. Well, Jason's lead at the last end was 2 to 2.5 inches. Greg's lead at this end 2 to 2.5 inches. No target as such, so Jason's opting to try and draw it off with his first. He's certainly watching the bowl. I think it might just be underline, yeah. Now, similar to the last end with Jason, Greg doesn't want to set up a target. Not a bad bowl there at all. Jason going at it now. Shouting hurry. Has he got a piece of it? He's got it away. What a great ball from Jason. Both players having to find all the shots here. There we see Jason's bowl take Greg's shot bowl out of the head. It was a toucher, so it is in the ditch. Mike Davis has just marked it on the back bank there. Whether that'll come into play or not. Greg just looking to draw the ball back in. Still a bit of room there. Jason's ball's about 18 inches away from the jack. Oh, Greg, there's something wrong with this. There's something wrong with this, Greg. Jason probably come and have a bit of a look at this, just to settle himself down more than anything. Greg just having to sit down, compose himself. He's got one bowl left to stay in this tournament. Jason's got 2 bowls left. The danger for Jason here is if he draws and makes a target for Greg, Greg's got jack in the ditch to his own toucher over there to win the second end. But Jason needs to be closer. He knows that he needs a closer shot. Tidy line, might just have overplayed it. Still all right there. Still room for Greg. 18 inches, 2 foot of room. This bowl to keep his hopes alive. Line's good. Line's very good. Watch your pace like Greg. It's done enough to stay in. Oh, this game's had a bit of everything. Really, it's just a draw for Jason. Just beat his own bowl. At this stage of the game, he might feel like nerves that come into play to go for the bowl. He's probably got both spots covered with his red bowls if the jack did go out the side. Can't nominate to kill at this end, can at the next end. Well, Jason, he's going for it. Greg Harlow takes the second end in this tie-break, so it's 1-1 after 2 ends in the tie-break. Slightly different rules at the last end of the tie-break. You can nominate to kill the end. You can nominate as many times as you want, but you can only kill once. A bit of an interesting focus shot there by the BBC. So 1-1. Whoever wins this end takes the place in the quarter-final tomorrow morning against Jamie Chesney.
Jack like 37.5 meters.
Well, Jason, all on your pace. The line looks very good. Just lacking full focus attention of Greg Harlow there. I think he thinks he's overplayed this. Yeah, definitely overcooked it, Greg. Just shows that nerves can come into play for any level of player. Can Jason rectify on his first bowl and draw a close bowl in? Well, again, he looks down a good track. What's the pace like this time? Better. There's still room for Greg. that better. Body language said he'd definitely like that better. I don't know that he's a bit overplayed again, Greg.
One red.
Still one red. Still don't think it's good enough, Jason. Swap to the forehand draw shot. At the moment there's the danger at the back as well of Greg's two back bowls. And Jason's running for cover already. Mike Davies just been asked if that's one or two red.
Okay. Greg is nominated to kill the end of this ball.
So Greg's nominated to kill, so if he hits the jack and it goes out of the side confines of the rink, the end is replayed. It's the only time in World Bowls Tour play that an end would be replayed. Going for it, Greg. He was on target the last end in this direction with a runner. He's close again. Very close. Now, has it gone out the side confines? Yep, looks to have gone out the side confines. Killed end, the bowls and the jack go back. We saw him do that in the final back in 2016. And confident, very calm, been there before. Players go back down, like I say, it's the only time that an end is ever replayed. So we start again at N3. Sticking to the 27 to 27.5 metre jack that's been so successful for him. Now his opening bowl in the first go at playing N3 was just a touch short. Now Jason, can you rectify that with this bowl? The line looks very good. Needs to just finish back to centre now. Still a lot of room there. He's disappointed with that. He's put some exceptional leads up in this game. Greg very confident to play at that jack at the last end. A lot of players would consider to just try and draw that off the forehand, but Greg's so accurate with those runners. Slips past the red bowl. It's a good bowl. Good bowl here from Greg. Now we might see a runner from Jason down the forehand. Jack in the ditch, bowl out. Certainly watching it. In the area, Jason. How solid can you get it? Well, Jack's in the ditch, so it can't be a killed end this time because the jack is within the confines of the rink. Sorry, I was getting so excited there. Within the confines of the rink. The bowl in the ditch is a toucher, so Mike Davies has just marked that. He's just marking where the jack is. So it's one shot to red at the moment with the bowl in the ditch. Both players still got two bullets to come at this end. Both skipped internationally for many years. So both used to playing to displaced jacks. Now Greg, can you do it with your first bowl? Put the pressure on. It's a tight line. Don't think that this is making the trip. Might not even stay in the rink. Looks like it's still one red. You see the line, black line down the middle of the yellow marker. So it's being stringed, is this bowl. There's a string that you'll see Mike Davies lift up here. All three umpires have to come into play for this one. So Mike Davies will be in control of the string at this end. Dan Blewett, the shot clock operator, at the far end. The string is held on the black lines, as you see there, Mike doing. That's a great shot. And Francis Fletcher will decide as umpire whether the ball is in or out of the rink. If any part of the ball is touching that string, it's considered in the rink. We've certainly had a bit of everything at this tournament. We were talking this morning at breakfast that we'd not had a line call, and we've just had a line call. Now, Jason, you've seen Greg's bowl go down. Needs a tad more green than that. This is running. Now, miss your own bowl. Certainly seems to be running quicker than Greg's bowl. Greg's bowl was out of the rink. So, he was asking that to hurry. It stayed about a metre to 1.5 metres off the jack in the ditch. Greg Harlow has got to beat that to keep his hopes alive. Pressure bowl. This is the man for a pressure bowl. Now, Greg. Well, the line looks very good. What's your pace like? What's the pace like? Can it get past the red bowl? Done enough. Greg Harlow, world #1. Said the man for a pressure bowl. Now,
How many time has I got?
pressure back on Jason now. He's got to draw to beat that bowl. In ordinary time, you'd probably consider, loads of time. All you're having to do is put 2 foot on your last bowl. But this is a last 16 place to go into the quarter-final of the Scottish International Open 2018. Loads of pressure on this, and Greg still has a bullet left. If Jason manages to beat this bowl, Greg Harlow still has a bowl left. Can the Welsh wizard beat the red bowl? He's gone as a runner at it. He's gone at it. Steering it. If this misses the green bowl, Greg Harlow takes his place in the quarter-final. What a tight game that was. So Greg will face Jamie Chesney tomorrow morning at 10:15 in what was a really swings and roundabouts game. There's a delighted K on your screen. Thanks for joining us in this streaming coverage by First Containers UK. And if you can't stay with us this afternoon, you'll get all the news and reports on worldbowlstour.tv. Huge grin off Greg Harlow there towards K. Got out of trouble there, played some superb shots, especially that last bowl. Join us again at 1 o'clock for the defending champion, David Gawley MBE, playing the left-hander, the effervescent left-hander Les Gillett. Then we have Perry Martin versus Wayne Wilgress. A superb game on the cards there. Some fireworks will fly, I'm sure. And then the last game on this evening, the battle of the draw players. Philip Last Bowl Last versus Mervyn the Draw King King. Join us again at 1 o'clock for further coverage here on World Bowls Tour Streaming. Thanks for your company.